Okay.
Dude, we're back.
We're back.
We are officially back. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit.
It's been a long time at this point. I think months probably. Welcome back, everyone. If you are a return listener, we took a very long hiatus. It was not planned.
Much longer than expected.
Much longer than expected. Our last episode was episode number 13, and we literally joked on the episode that that was the cursed episode. And turns out that we were right.
Yes.
It ended up being the last episode for a very long time. Life happens. It gets in the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta, you have to handle biz.
Yeah.
Which we did.
Yeah.
But now we're back. We got turtlenecks.
Yeah.
We got turtlenecks. If some of you may recall, I discussed considering wearing turtlenecks, and we pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
And here we are. We're both wearing turtlenecks.
We look great.
We look great. I gotta say though, I don't know that I like it for myself.
I said that from the beginning.
I know you did.
Yeah.
I know, but sometimes you have to learn on your own.
Yeah.
As a guy who sweats easily, not a good choice.
Yeah.
Not a good choice. I'm literally covered up to my throat in material, in fabric.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to be
That's the point of a turtleneck.
I get it, but I feel like I'm going to be very sweaty.
Yeah.
Here as a result. I feel like I look okay though.
You look fine.
I look good. Do I look presentable in a
you
turtleneck?
Look wonderful.
But could I pull this off though, like
regularly? Well, I don't know. I noticed you have your turtleneck folded down a bunch.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a beard. It goes all the way up to my beard.
You should cover your beard with your turtleneck.
I should tuck the
just
beard in.
wear it up to here.
Should I just go all the way up to my nose?
Yeah.
I think I should do that.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I think it looks okay.
Yeah.
Not very comfortable though. I feel like I have to like
comfortable.
No, I feel like I have to stretch my neck out.
I kind of know what you mean because mine. I tried rolling mine because I saw how you were wearing yours and I was like, should I do that? And I did it and I was like, that looks really dumb. It looks like I have a scrunchie around my neck.
Yeah.
And so, but I also am a little self-conscious because it sits right here. So I'm like, do I look like I don't know. You know what I mean?
When you go like that. I mean,
yeah, but like I don't know.
Well, I feel like
it's not very forgiving if you have a mild double chin.
I guess not. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe kind of. I feel like if you had a major double chin though, it would be very forgiving, wouldn't it? It would hide it.
Well, that's very true.
It would
yes.
It would be tucked in.
Well, so I don't have a very major double chin.
Yeah.
So since I have, it's just the angle. It's really just the angle.
I think you're fine.
Yeah.
I think you look great. Turtleneck looks fine on you.
Thank you.
Me, I feel like I'm trying to escape constantly. I feel like I'm stretching my neck out like a turtle. Like I'm trying to get out.
Hence
constantly.
the name.
Yeah, hence the turtleneck.
Yeah.
The title. Well, anyway, if you're a new listener, if you're a return listener, thank you for dealing with our very long hiatus and welcome back. Yes,
I don't know why I said please.
Yes, please. If you are a return listener, please. Well, thank you for tuning back in. If you are a new listener, this is according to my wife.
Yeah.
This is my wife, Amber.
Hi.
We call her Babs.
Hello.
Known as Babs.
Yeah.
My name is Rick, but she calls me Ricky.
Yeah.
So for the purposes of this podcast, it's Ricky and Babs.
Yeah.
And Babs will tell you some fun historical tidbits, tales, funny little anecdotes.
Mostly things that I find interesting. I'll come across something, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I want to learn more about it. And then I do. And then I'm like, let's tell you about it.
And I do not know what it is that she's going to tell me.
Yeah.
And this is the history of whatever it is that she decides to research, according to her. Thus the name, thus the title, according to my wife.
Yeah.
That's the podcast. I feel like I don't need to explain every episode, but because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Because it's been a while, I feel the need to remind people of what it is that we're doing here on the podcast.
Can you insert that song for like 2 seconds?
I can, yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I can. Okay, so you guys know that song, It's Been a While. You know that song? Every time that Babs or either one of our kids says that phrase, I immediately
Your head goes there.
Immediately go, it's been a while.
Yeah.
To the point now where everyone is editing how they say, if they're about to say it's been a while, they stop and go, it's been a long time.
We all say, it's been a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been some time.
It's been some time, yeah.
Yeah.
But now even then, it's like, it's been a long time. I go, it's been a long time. Yeah. It's fun and annoying at the same time.
Also, I had COVID last week, so I probably sound a little stuffier than usual.
Yeah, COVID ran through the house.
It's been 2 weeks of COVID.
Yeah.
First Soph, now me. Well, not now anymore because I just tested negative, but you're next.
I feel like I had it before.
I
was
don't
sick
know.
for months, dude.
Yeah.
I got sick at the end of November. I was sick pretty much all the way through December and still had some sort of lingering, at least cough, some sort of sickness through most of January.
I think I got it twice and didn't even know the first time.
Yeah, I think I got it because I didn't test myself.
I didn't test myself either because I was like, oh, I haven't lost my sense of smell.
Well,
but
and
this
for
time
me, I was
around,
like, what's the purpose?
Well,
no one does. There's nothing that happens anymore if you test positive.
Yeah, which is crazy because our child tested positive and her school said, well, if she doesn't have a fever, just send her to school.
She was still positive. She was still testing positive, and they were like, it's okay. She can go back to school. She just has to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And then we get like 47 emails about COVID exposure notifications from her school.
Yeah, and we're like, duh.
And voicemails.
Yeah.
And text messages.
Yeah.
The way that the schools communicate with parents these days is absurd.
It is.
It's absolutely ridiculous. The other night, you and I, between the two of us, got like 8 phone calls and voicemails.
We did.
And none of it is relevant to what our child is actually even involved in.
Yeah.
It's like a minute and a half voicemail about the Polynesian Club. I'm like, her name is Sophia. She's not in the Polynesian Club.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think
her last name is Martinelli.
Yeah. We don't need all the information that you guys share. We got one though that was really funny because it's always
oh god,
it's always like some AI voice message, and it's always like hello families, and it just with some ridiculous information. And they were talking, what was it? It was like the winter festival or something.
Yeah, it was some kind of winter thing.
Yeah, they were
not the like winter dance, but like a festival.
Yeah, like a festival or a fair, a winter fair or something. And they called us and out of nowhere. It was like, hello, families. We have secured 5,000 pies for today's winter. And we were like, what the hell?
Yeah.
They got 5,000 pies?
I literally ran down the hallway and I was like, Soph, why does your school need 5,000 pies?
No one needs 5,000 pies.
We were all so confused.
Even the county fair doesn't even need 5,000 pies.
No one needs that.
Yeah, let alone a winter fair for a small high school in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Turns out it's the name of a pizza place is called 5,000 pies.
Yeah.
But we thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
And now pretty much every day of our lives, we just go, we have secured 5,000 pies. Yeah. Yes. Weird AI voice every time.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're back.
Yeah.
Dude, so much has happened. I don't even remember. I think it's probably been like 5-6 months maybe.
I think the last time we recorded was either in July or August.
So about 5 months.
Yeah.
Almost 6. And I don't even know where we left off.
I don't either.
We're
new people now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we are. That's what it was. We were drinking a lot.
We were drinking a lot.
We were doing a lot of drinking.
We don't do that anymore.
No.
We're drinking tea currently.
We're drinking tea. Mm-hmm. I've got lemon ginger tea. What kind of tea are you drinking?
Winter Wake Up.
Winter Wake Up.
By Trader Joe's. My favorite. And I'm so glad I stocked up because I don't think you can find it right now. And if you can, you're lucky.
All right. Well, you're the lucky one then.
Yeah.
You are lucky. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were drinking a lot.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of what... I think we were drinking a lot during the podcast too.
No, yeah, that's what kind of like was spiking our drinking was like we were drinking because we were podcasting, and then
we were podcasting because we were drinking.
Yeah, it was just like a cycle. Yeah, it got a little too much, and I wouldn't even say like we weren't drinking like to the point where it was like irresponsible.
Yeah, we weren't like doing like tequila shots on there.
We weren't like waking up and drinking, but like we were drinking several nights out of the week, which to that point was like, what are we doing? And then after we went to Washington, we just were both kind of like, yeah, this is a little much. Like there was a lot of beer involved.
Yeah, it was a lot of beer. And during the podcast, it just meant I was burping the whole time.
That's right. Yeah, there was a lot of that.
I was editing the podcast like, I'm burping a lot. Yeah. It's just distracting. It's not good. Not good radio here.
Yeah.
Not good podcasting.
Yeah, and I don't know where you stand. I know you did dry January, which is great. And whoever else did it, I think that's a cool way to kind of start the year with like a fresh mind.
It is.
I was not doing dry January. I just like randomly decided to just stop drinking in like October. So
yeah, it's been a little bit. It's been a while for you.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah. For me, I don't remember the last day or time that I drank though. And to be honest, I don't think it really like means that much.
Yeah.
To me, like a lot of people are like, oh, this is my sobriety day. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I don't think either of us necessarily had a drinking problem.
No,
per se,
not necessarily.
But it was just becoming like a little excessive,
a little too common in our daily lives.
And I felt like we weren't really gaining much from it.
That's why I stopped, because I felt like it wasn't like serving me and my life. I felt like for me, I wasn't getting much out of it. It was kind of slowing down my like production of the things that I need to do throughout the day.
Right.
And also I had 2 nights where one night I had some red wine. I think I only had like a glass and a half. Horrible night of sleep. And then like 2 weeks after that, I literally had, excuse me, 1 beer. It was like a tall one though. And I didn't sleep the entire night. And I felt like a zombie. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And so that's when I just finally was like, I don't want that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I usually only drink if I'm out and about in the world and I'm doing some sort of social or like comedy related networking type thing. And even then I limit my drinking pretty dramatically. I think the last time I actually kind of like tied one on was the Hollywood part or the holiday party at the Improv. I had quite a few beers that night, but I did only drink beers specifically though, cause I didn't want to get too drunk.
Yeah.
But I had enough to where I was like the following day I did not feel great.
I think I remember that actually. Yeah. Sorry. My lips are dry and I forgot to put chapstick on.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't. And if people choose to drink and want to drink and like drinking, like that's totally fine. I have like no problem with people that's their thing.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Yeah, this is just my own personal preference.
Yeah, me too. And I just, we're getting a little older.
Yeah.
It's like
we have a lot of responsibility.
There's
also.
a lot going on right now. We got work, we got a family, we've got, our kids have activities.
Yeah.
I do a lot of stand up.
Yeah.
And, I did a big rap show in between the last time that we recorded, and now there's been a lot going on.
Yeah, and I wasn't working before, and I am now, and so with that on top of like kids and stuff, I don't have the time to like be having a glass of wine at night and potentially losing sleep.
Yeah,
sleep is like way too important to me.
I'm not gonna lie, I do miss it a little bit at sometimes. Yeah, every now and then I'm like,
I'm sure.
A drink would be nice right now,
you can
or
do that.
beer, an ice cold beer. I know, but honestly, so I did do dry January, but now we're a little bit into February and I'm keeping it going. I could have easily had a drink last night at the show that I was working at, but I was just like, you know what? I don't really need to. If it's not like necessary or it's not serving me, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's the same reason I don't smoke weed anymore.
Oh, yeah, no. I can't. I was having panic attacks.
Me too.
So that was really fun.
Well, the panic attacks for me too was like, okay, it's time to stop now.
Yeah.
But I came to a conscious conclusion that like, I'm not really gaining anything from this like I used to. So what's the point?
Yeah. And on a totally different note, we are going to be getting a crazy rainstorm.
Yes, we are in the middle of now the second atmospheric river event.
That's right, atmospheric river. Yes,
yeah,
I love the sound of that.
Here throughout all of California, honestly. But the last one it rained a couple days ago pretty intensely. Yeah, and I don't have an umbrella.
Yeah,
I got drenched.
Yeah, we need to get you one.
I know I need an umbrella. Can't remember last time I was that like drenched from the rain. It was pretty intense.
Yeah.
But apparently this time is supposed to be much worse.
Yeah.
They don't say hurricane anymore because that last false alarm hurricane.
Yeah.
Everyone panicked and it sprinkled a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was a little windy.
Yeah.
But now they're calling it an atmospheric river.
Yeah.
Which no one can identify what the hell that means.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Yeah, so everyone is just like, all right, is that just the new? They're like, hey, we can't say hurricane anymore. Everybody freaked out. They got mad at us.
I was talking to my mom.
River now.
I was talking to my mom this morning and she mentioned that. She was like, yeah, they're saying something about an atmospheric river. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what that is. And she was like, I've never heard that. And I was like, I know, me either.
I know. A river from the atmosphere?
Yeah. I literally have never heard that before.
Yeah, I think it's a new phrase that they're like, hey, not enough people can identify what this means.
Yeah.
So we're not going to send them into a panic.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're about to get a ton of rain apparently for the next 3 days straight.
Yeah.
Hopefully our podcast studio does not flood.
Yeah.
That would suck because, also we remodeled the podcast studio.
Oh, yes.
This is the first episode in the new podcast studio.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can see the difference because I put so much work.
Yes, you did.
Into
and
this.
money.
And money. A lot more money than work, to be honest. But
it looks nice. It feels nice. It looks nice.
Yeah.
It's inviting. Not only is this our new podcast studio, but this is like the new hangout spot. We've got a little futon. Yeah. We are collecting VHS tapes.
Yes.
That's our new hobby. It's so much fun.
It is.
We go to the swap meets on the weekends and we buy VHS tapes and it's just been so much fun.
We just found E.T.
We found E.T.
on VHS. That was like, the holy grail for me.
Yeah.
I was like, we got to find E.T. Yep. I can't picture a more appropriate movie to be on a VHS tape than E.T.
So the one I'm like really holding out hope for is Encino Man. I really want to find Encino Man because right now you can't stream it anywhere.
You've been looking?
Oh, I've been looking for months.
There's nowhere? Or you just can't stream it for free?
I think you have to maybe rent it, but even then I don't remember. And for some reason, we're so cheap. We're just like, I'm refusing to pay $3.99 to rent that.
I will not pay $3.99.
Yeah.
I will pay $1 for a VHS tape.
That's right.
To own forever and leave in a very bulky tote in our garage.
Yes.
It's fun though.
It is fun.
We got a bunch of... The funny thing is
like
that
the classics.
But
right
we have
now.
more movies than we will ever logically watch.
It's still fun.
Like to sit down and watch these movies in full on a VHS. We'll never do it. But it's fun though. It's fun to know that we can.
It's fun to know that we can, but it's also fun to kind of go out there and like kind of like just see the different movies that are at the swap meet and kind of be reminded like, oh yeah, I forgot I loved that movie.
Right.
Like when I found Waiting to Exhale, I was like, absolutely have to buy this one.
Yeah.
Because right now you can't stream Waiting to Exhale without paying to rent it.
Well, you got it.
Yeah.
You have it.
I have it now.
Also, you know, I think we're so reliant on internet now and Wi-Fi that when the Wi-Fi goes out, it's funny. You're like, oh, Wi-Fi's out. Oh, I can't stream anything on Netflix. And you're like, okay, well, I'll just go to Amazon Prime. And you end up going, oh, yeah, I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do anything without Wi-Fi. Even a lot of like video games now that rely on the internet. And I just think that's kind of lame when you're in that situation. Yeah. And then we used to have like a thumb drive that had like a lot of downloaded movies and stuff on it. Now, for some reason, that won't also work.
It wants us to have a memory card after having it for how many years?
Yeah, nothing has changed.
Nothing changed.
Yeah, except probably they did some remote update that changed everything. And now, so now it's like, dude, you know what? Why not just have a bunch of VHS tapes that we can watch?
Well, and periodically we do have power outages here. Not power outages. The internet.
Yeah, service interruptions, whatever they call them.
And so with that, like there's at least an alternative. You don't have to just sit there and twiddle your thumbs.
Also, like I love the aesthetic of old stuff.
I think that's the part for me that's why I like to do it is it's kind of nostalgic. The aesthetic is kind of neat. I like the grittiness of like the old VHS tapes. I don't know. There's just something fun about it. It's like collecting records at this point.
Yeah, I agree. It's and the funny thing is that you can find them everywhere. Well, if you know where to look.
Yeah.
But the swap meet's a great place.
Yeah, don't go to Goodwill though. They're overpricing.
They're taxing, dude.
Yes, they are.
$4.
Yes.
$4 for a VHS tape.
Yeah.
These thrift stores these days, they're just ripping everybody off.
The thrift stores are ridiculous. I found a TV cabinet, like, you know, just a regular old TV cabinet to put your TV on top of. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's like, you know, used. So I figured when we were at the thrift store, it wasn't very much. It was $1.99.
That's insane.
They got it for free.
That's insane.
What are you doing?
$200 for used furniture that they got for free.
Yes.
It's not okay.
I was pissed.
That is not Goodwill.
That is not good. It was actually Salvation Army, which is kind of worse when you think about it.
Yeah. What does the Salvation Army do?
They like fund like abused women and children, and they help stuff like that.
Well, why is charging $200 for a TV stand? How is that benefiting?
I feel like if they would charge less, people would buy more, and then they'd have more for their cause.
Yeah. I agree.
Exactly.
I would give them money.
I'd give them
But we went in there the other day. We were like, this is such a ripoff. I'm not even going to buy the one item. I actually got
so irritated that I was like speaking under my breath about how mad I was.
Just mumbling.
Yes, I was just mumbling.
I can't believe this is...
Yeah, I was just like, I hate this place. This place sucks. I'm leaving.
$3
Look at these
for
freaking prices.
Glass. It should be 25 cents.
Yes.
I found a book. I found a Jack Reacher book. I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you guys are taxing.
Yeah.
This is unfair. I will not support your cause.
Nope, not
supporting.
supporting.
A woman is being abused right now because of you overcharging.
Yeah. That is not.
That's not true at all. Obviously, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Well,
let's get to it.
Let's get into today's topic, Babs. What are we talking about on this episode?
On this episode, we are going to be talking about the Michelin Company.
The Michelin Company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which doesn't sound very exciting. I'll admit that.
No, I'm curious about that because I've always personally wondered, and maybe I've read about it somewhere, but how did Michelin, the tire company, become involved in restaurants? Yeah,
so that's actually where my curiosity came from. I wondered that as well. So I was like, what is this about? So I started deep diving, and then I was like, this is maybe a decent topic. It's not like one that's like super crazy and weird twists, like the gnome.
Underselling it. Quit
I know.
You're the SNL Christmas
SNL
mom, dude.
Yes,
I'll put a brief clip in here.
Yes.
I know. They're disgusting. I'm an idiot and a bitch.
I am definitely her. But when I started reading about it, I was like, this is interesting. So here we go.
Okay, let's do it.
The Michelin Company. We have all heard the term Michelin star rated, and we all know if a restaurant has Michelin stars, that must mean the food is really good and probably pricey.
Mm-hmm.
But why do we even have this system in place, and where did it come from?
Okay.
The Michelin Company is a French tire manufacturing company based in part of France that I cannot pronounce.
Wait, okay, French. I guess that makes sense. The word Michelin, I guess, sounds French now that I think about it. And the French are very food oriented, food centric.
Yeah.
French food is like, when you think of like fine dining, it's like French food.
Yeah, that's true.
So, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry, let me adjust my sweater, my turtleneck here.
What if we just wore turtlenecks on every episode?
We need lots of turtlenecks.
I know, I only have one.
I only have one also. We literally got it just for this.
Just for this episode.
Yeah.
I'm never going to wear this again.
Yeah, I will.
No, I probably will.
We should trade.
Ooh, that's not bad. I don't know, though. I don't know if I'll
It would
fit
be
yours.
so tight.
It would just be tiny. I do feel like we're like ready to go to like a family Christmas photo shoot at Sears.
Yeah. Are we wearing this to Brooklyn's gymnastics today?
I'm down.
We're both going to wear our turtlenecks.
Let's do it.
Okay.
It's a rainy day.
It is a rainy day.
It's a turtleneck day.
Okay, so the place in France that the company is based in is called Clermont-Ferrand in the Auvergne-Rhône Alps region. I don't know if I'm saying any of that right.
That's fine. We don't speak French.
We don't speak French. It is the second largest tire manufacturing company, coming in behind Bridgestone. Michelin is also known for their travel guides and road maps. They are also famously known for their star ratings of restaurants and their mascot named Bibendum.
I never thought about what the mascot's name was.
The Michelin Man, as we know
The Michelin
him.
Man. Okay, but
His real name is Bibendum.
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 Bibbins.
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 Bibendum.
For those of you who don't know, Babs, the nickname Babs has a lot of different variations. One of them is Bibbins.
It is Bibbins, which actually is kind of appropriate.
There's
a little bit of English in me.
There's a little bit of English, yeah. Yeah.
Bibbins.
Bibbins.
Yeah, and Binder.
And Binder.
Yeah.
And Boonder.
Boonder.
And Binder.
Right. These are dumb.
And Binder and Binder and Binder and Binder, attorney at law.
Yeah. Anyway.
The
legacy begins with two brothers, Edouard Michelin and Andre Michelin.
I love how, because it was French, you were like, Edouard.
Well, no, excuse me. No, so his name is spelled weird. I don't know how to pronounce it. Edouard. Edouard.
That's too many vowels in a row.
I know. That's why I said it like that.
Edward.
We're
just going to go English.
Edward. The two brothers ran a farm implement business, and one day while working at the factory, a man whose tire ruptured on his bike showed up needing to have it fixed. The tire was glued to the rim of the bike and took hours to fix. Mm-hmm. And then it took overnight to dry. From being glued back to the rim. When Edward took the bike out...
You can just go Edward.
Okay. When Edward took the bike out to test the repair, after only a few meters, the tire again was ruptured.
So their history is just shitty tires?
No.
Initially?
They didn't make that tire. They just tried to fix it. And they were fixing it the way that it was made.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they fixed it. Okay.
So the guy showed up. And he was like, my tire's broke. So they like realized, oh, your tire, it's called like a something kind of tire. I didn't put it on.
Bike tire?
No, it's there's like a name for it that I didn't put in my notes.
Okay.
And I probably should have. And when they were fixing it, they were like, it's glued to the rim. This is like a really stupid design. Mm-hmm. And so then they fixed it exactly the way it was and realized this is dumb. He and his brother had the idea to create a tire that did not need to be glued to the rim. And
so they were
innovators. Yes, they were very innovative.
Wow.
They saw an opportunity with that one.
They identified a problem.
They did.
And they found a solution.
They did. In 1891, Michelin took out its first patent for a removable tire. no longer glued to the rim.
Interesting.
Yes.
Never thought about that. Never thought about how tires function now and how they used to.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I know. That's why I did this, because I was like, this is an odd topic, but it's also really interesting.
Yeah.
Because there are things all around us, companies, phrases, just ordinary things that we don't know have an entire backstory. So it's kind of cool to think about.
Mm-hmm.
On May 28th, 1889, Michelin became a corporation. Michelin made a red travel guide that had information on how to change a tire, where to fill up for gas, and where to find hotels.
Wait, where did the name Michelin come from?
Their names were Edouard
Their
Michelin.
last name was Michelin.
And Andre Michelin.
This shows how much I pay attention.
Yeah, that was the very first thing.
I just heard you go Edouard, and I just disregarded every other piece of information.
We're just talking over each other. The sentence that I started with was, the legacy begins with two brothers, Edward Michelin and Andre Michelin.
I'm sorry. I just got distracted by Edouard.
I didn't know how to say it.
It's fine.
Anyway, so they made a red travel guide that had information on how to change a tire, where to fill up for gas, and where to find hotels. The goal of this plan for the guides was to encourage people to travel by automobile, buy more automobiles, and therefore sell more Michelin tires.
Wow. So this was just a creative marketing technique initially.
Yes.
In order to make sure that people drove more.
Yes.
And needed more tires.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's capitalism.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in France.
Yeah.
Wow.
These guides were free until 1920, the Michelin guides.
Wait, they're not free?
Not anymore.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, you have to pay for them.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever even seen a Michelin guide, personally.
Well, everything's online now, isn't it?
I mean, I would imagine, yes. I don't know anything about the actual, the paper Michelin guides that you used to get. I don't know. But I would imagine that if you want an in-depth one, I think you have to pay for them. Probably still.
Nah, they got an app now. Everything's free.
I don't know. We'll see.
I downloaded the app at one point because I was like, let's go eat at some baller restaurants.
Oh, you did? And it had suggestions?
It has all the Michelin star rated restaurants.
Oh, so then
everywhere.
it's free. They weren't though for a long time, probably until the internet then.
Yeah, I guess so. Probably.
Yeah, I didn't deep dive like that, to more modern times. I more was looking at the history. But yeah, you're probably right. Through the 1920s through the 1930s, Michelin had several large rubber plantations in Vietnam, where they employed impoverished individuals and had unsafe working environments. This actually led to a strike in the labor movement called Phu Rang Du. It's a famous labor strike. And also that's interesting because Phu Rang Du. I'm probably saying rang wrong. I can't talk.
Probably saying it rang.
I almost said that. Yeah.
Phu Rang Du.
Which is interesting because we've been really interested in Vietnam lately, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that there's a big heavily French influeed.
That's very much because and
France this is a French company.
Phu Rang Du sounds like a Dollar Tree version of Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
But really, it's just a labor strike in Vietnam.
Yeah.
All right. Not as cool as a rap crew.
Yeah. By 1934, Michelin produced a tire that would run on a foam lining if it were punctured while in motion. That design is now known as a run flat tire. So they're still around.
Dude, as the king of getting flat tires.
Why don't you have Michelin tires?
I think I do.
I don't think so.
I think we have Michelin tires on the Volkswagen.
No, we don't.
What do we have?
Pilates or Pirellis?
Purell?
Pilates?
We have Pilates.
Pirellis?
I have no
Pirellis.
Pirellis? You might be right. Actually, I don't buy Michelin tires because I'm cheap.
They're probably expensive.
I need the cheapest tires possible.
Yeah.
If the way they rate restaurants, because like I said, I had that app and I looked at all the rest. I'm like, I'm gonna spend $7,000 to eat at this restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, nah, give me the cheap tires.
Yeah. That design, flat, blah, blah, blah. Into the 60s, Michelin had taken over companies and partnered with many others. And in 1966, Michelin partnered with Sears and were selling 1 million units annually by 1966.
Wow.
Let's talk a little bit about the Michelin Man.
The Michelin Man. Let's talk.
Michelin Man.
Because we've talked a lot about mascots.
Yeah, we have actually. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I found Was that the first episode? No, second episode.
I think it was. Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at my old notes from like 2 years ago when we wanted to start this podcast. And apparently I had a lot of notes on mascots back then. Well, I don't know what my fascination with mascots is, but apparently there is one.
That's funny. Our kids are terrified of mascots.
I know. It's so weird. While at an exposition, the Michelin brothers noticed a stack of tires that greatly resembled a human figure. They later met with cartoonist Marius Rosselin, who showed them a rejected cartoon from a brewery. It had a man holding up a glass of beer and said, "Nunc est bibendum," which means now is the time for drinking.
So bibendum means
drinking.
Drinking?
Yeah.
So the mascot's name is Drinking.
I guess so, yeah.
A company that sells tires for automobiles.
I don't really understand the connection there, yeah.
The name
and
is
also
Drinking.
This is in Latin, which I don't know why that, I don't know.
It's Latin for, okay, bibendum is Latin for drinking.
Yeah, I guess so.
That is a funny name for a mascot for a company that specializes in driving.
I looked it up on my phone, the word bibendum, because I was like, this is weird. Okay, yeah, here it is. I still have it on here. Oh, okay. So bibendum means it's time to drink.
It's time to drink.
It's time to drink.
And then drive your car with Michelin tires.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't think about that.
That's immediately what I thought. I'm like, wait a minute. That's kind of an irresponsible slogan. Name for
yeah.
It's time for drinking.
Yeah.
Enjoy driving home on your Michelin tires.
Yeah.
But don't worry, when you crash your car, your flat tires will still roll.
Yeah, or they'll withstand not becoming flat because of everything you just ran over or ran into.
Everyone you just ran over.
Everyone, yeah.
You've been drinking.
Yeah.
With bibendum, the Michelin man.
Yes. They had him replace the man with the tire figure, and the glass of beer was filled with nails and broken glass. It was Michelin's way of toasting to its competitors while knowing their tires could handle all of the hazardous conditions represented in the glass.
I would rather have a glass of beer than a glass of nails and broken glass.
It was like the Michelin man with a glass.
Yes.
Like toasting, and the glass represented hazardous conditions for roads.
So he wasn't drinking.
He wasn't actually drinking.
He was drinking broken glass and nails.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tires were once...
If you're new to this podcast, I annoy the hell out of my wife.
You sure do.
During every episode.
And then some.
And life.
Yeah. Yeah. Tires were once gray and even white, but eventually carbon was added to them for strength and preservation, which then made them black.
Gray and white tires. That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. At one point, the Michelin man was changed from white to black in their ads, but then changed back due to printing issues.
Okay.
Yeah. So why do we see this tire company raiding restaurants? That's the big question.
Yes.
Why the hell? I'll tell you. We have to go back almost to the beginning. Michelin's guide was not only helpful to motorists in finding a hotel or a gas station, but it also had suggestions for restaurants. This was first started in the 1920s, showing a list of restaurants in Paris, France. The guide's restaurant section became so increasingly popular, the Michelin brothers began recruiting a team of mystery diners, also known as restaurant inspectors, to dine and review anonymously. In 1926, the guide began to award stars to represent the fine dining experience. It started with just 1 star. Then eventually the 3-star system was in place and has remained. In 1955, Michelin started rating restaurants that served high quality and moderate prices. They called this the Bib Gourmand. This is a system in place to show dining opportunities that reflect the region and country's economic standards. The Bib Gourmand is designed for people to eat well without breaking the bank. Although I don't know if that's still in place anymore.
No, I've heard that phrase before. I definitely,
really?
Yeah, the Bib Gourmand. Yeah, it's like it's a very prestigious sort of like system of like an award system.
Okay.
I think it's one of those things where it's like God, what's the other? There's another phrase they have, but it's like, okay, Bib Gourmand chefs or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Oh.
I'm a big foodie. I'm a big foodie.
Yeah. Well, I had never heard of that before.
I learned a lot about this type of stuff.
I actually almost didn't include that, but I felt like it was kind of important because they're trying to show you can use their thing if you are, don't have as much money as like, higher up rich people.
I think one of the things that and I don't know how long this has existed, but now there's Michelin star restaurants, and then there are Michelin like recognized restaurants.
Okay, interesting.
Like Via's Tacos. Shout out Via's Tacos, the homie Victor. They're in the Michelin guide.
Okay.
They're not a Michelin star, but they're Michelin recognized.
Interesting.
Yeah. So now, so they do, because it used to be, you know, fine dining, or I think that's kind of like when you get the stars, that represents like the real crazy fine dining type stuff.
Yes.
But then they have, other systems. And I think that's what the Bib Gorman.
Okay. Interesting. Never heard of it. The Michelin star ratings didn't come to America until 2005, where it solely focused on fine dining in New York City. During the rest of the 20th century, the guides continued to grow in popularity and became a bestseller. Today, the guide rates over 40,000 establishments in over 24 territories in 37 countries, and over 30 million Michelin guides have been sold worldwide.
Crazy. So did they start? So, okay, a lot of rating systems now are stars.
Mm-hmm.
Like 5-star.
Yeah.
You know, Yelp.
Yeah, did they start
Google.
the star?
Did they start the star rating system?
I don't know. I didn't like think about that. I didn't even make that like connection in my head that like this maybe wasn't a thing before.
I mean, it makes sense to say they started in the 20s, right?
Yeah, and it started as 1 star. Like 1 star was just like the hey, this is like this is a good place to go. It's got a star, a star rating. So maybe they were the beginning of the star ratings.
I have eaten at least one Michelin star restaurant that I'm aware of.
Gordon Ramsay?
Gordon Ramsay had a Michelin star restaurant in the London Hotel in West Hollywood.
Is that where me and you went? No, that's not.
Well,
That's
we
where you
stayed
went.
at that hotel.
Yeah.
But I ate at that restaurant about 10 years ago.
I remember your.
Yeah, right before we moved
told
to
me.
Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so good.
Yeah. I
And
bet.
all things Gordon Ramsay are amazing.
So Lowry's is not a Michelin star.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
No. No. Well, because I think Michelin stars are a lot more, it's like gastronomy type fine dining or like perfect representations of like a country or a regional. Like,
Okay.
Yeah. Like there will be like Michelin star sushi restaurants. And it's maybe not necessarily like fine dining sushi, but like a really high quality representation of what sushi as like a dish from Japan should be like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Michelin as a company has not only made tires, but made travel, tourism, and experiences enjoyable and available to everyone.
Dude, so when I downloaded that app and looked it up, there are a lot of Michelin star restaurants. There's quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
But maybe not as many as you would expect.
Yeah.
There's one here in Long Beach.
Oh, the ramen place.
Well, no. So, okay. That's the same thing as like Via's Tacos. They are Michelin recognized.
Oh,
but they don't have a Michelin
only
star.
recognized. Okay.
Yeah. Which is still like, that's still like an honor in like the restaurant world. Like you're legit.
Yeah.
But I forget the name of it. But there's a Michelin star restaurant in Long Beach, and I want to say
I wonder what kind of food it is.
I want to say it's like French, maybe.
Oh, really?
We could look it up. I've considered going there. It's over off 4th Street, I think.
Okay.
Like where all the thrift shops and Antique Row or whatever is. But I want to say that this last round of Michelin star restaurants that they announced, I think that was the only one in the Los Angeles area that got a Michelin star. A new Michelin star.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Dude, there's so many good restaurants on those lists, and I would love to go check out some of them. And a lot of them now, because now they have this, they kind of have like a tier system sort of thing. Like the stars are all like, you're dropping a lot of money at those places. But Michelin recognized, and I think the Bib Gourmet, all that stuff, those are more like, this is high quality dining.
Yeah, but
without
not
being crazy expensive.
Yes, exactly.
Although in a lot of ways, some of their definitions of what they define crazy expensive
I'm
as
sure
are still pretty damn
Yeah.
expensive. It's like, okay, you're not going to spend $700 to eat here, but you still might spend $150, $200.
Yeah.
Which is not a cheap night out, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I would have never imagined in a million years that the Michelin Man was named after a drinking slogan.
Yeah.
I find that to be very interesting.
Strange.
Yeah. I still do think, I mean, now that I know the history, I guess it does make sense, but what an ironic thing. They're just like, hey, let's create this marketing ploy here to get people to drive more.
Yeah.
And then that became something that more people associate the word Michelin with than tires.
Yeah.
I think when you say Michelin, like Michelin star, like high, like fine dining is more associated with the word Michelin than tires, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I also didn't know that they kind of created the modern tire.
Yeah.
I would have never imagined like glue. I guess glued to the thing.
Well, those were bike tires.
Right.
They did start with bikes.
Well, yeah, that's where tires kind of started, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, tires had to be on bikes before.
Well, because
we're
talking about like the 1920s. Well, they started in the 1800s. There were not cars that everyone drove back then. And so yeah, it started with bikes, and then obviously as technology progressed and lifestyles progressed, they clearly saw an avenue for their company and took charge.
Edward Michelin,
yeah, and Andre,
yeah, Ed and Andre,
Andre
and Ed. That was really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm always surprised at what you pick and why and how, and I never know where you're gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michelin, I would have never landed on. I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
Although I guess I would have never guessed any of the topics that you come up with.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Cool.
Thank you, Babs.
Yeah.
All right. Fun fact.
Fun fact. Okay. Our fun fact today actually has a lot to do with what we just talked about.
Okay.
But it's on the opposite, blah, 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 blah. It's on the opposite spectrum. It's, well, here, I'll just get into it, okay?
Get into it.
All right, so while Michelin star ratings are a big win for restaurant owners, it has also become unwanted in recent years. Because of the high expectations that come with ratings, there has been a growing trend recently to reject Michelin star ratings throughout the world. Some restaurants have even demanded that their star rating be removed.
Interesting. So it's optional. Well, or I guess they can have some
I don't know,
input.
but there's definitely like input by the restaurant owners of like not wanting it. Yeah. Restaurant owners sometimes feel the expectations are too demanding and that the ratings can also hinder a chef's creativity in the kitchen. Executive chef Curtis Duffy, who's the owner of 2 Michelin star restaurants, is quoted as saying, "We were talking about putting a piece of china down and making sure that it was perfectly an inch from the edge of the table and just going to extreme lengths, and I think that could break somebody."
I can understand that. It seems like it's got to be a lot of pressure. Like once you get that, now it's like a crazy expectation to always live up to that.
Well, and I think also when like you want to have a restaurant that's successful, like your whole thing is like, I want a restaurant, I want to own a restaurant. But then all of a sudden you get this rating and it makes you feel like instead of this idea of like wanting to always own a restaurant, now you're wanting to keep up with these standards that you maybe didn't even really like have these expectations about or feelings about.
Right.
And I think that pressure probably is just mounts on top of people.
I can only imagine. I mean, I have not worked in, I've worked in a couple different food environments. Definitely not like a real restaurant environment. It's stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked at a pizza place.
Yeah.
I worked at a pizza brewery and I just made pizzas in the back, and just the pressure of the dinner rush and satisfying customer expectations at a pizza place was a lot.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a Michelin star restaurant where people are going to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to eat.
And because of that, their expectations are so high.
Oh, and imagine the customers coming in at that point. I mean, imagine people are picky at Chipotle.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the level of pickiness for people who are expecting, like a 9-course meal with all sorts of crazy gastronomy dishes.
Yeah, and imagine like all you want to do is you want to make food that like people love and enjoy, and all of a sudden it's turned into something completely different.
Obviously this is probably like a great exaggeration because it's a television show, but have you watched The Bear yet? I don't think you watched that.
No, I remember when you were watching it though.
It's such a good show. And that's kind of one of the things, like the main guy in that show is, he's like a classically trained chef and he's opening this restaurant, and he ran a restaurant with a Michelin star and all this stuff. And like, from what I've heard, a lot of people who work in the restaurant industry and fine dining and chefs have said that show is like very, very accurate.
Oh, really?
As far as like what it's like, the kind of pressures that exist working in a kitchen, especially like a fine dining restaurant.
I should watch it. That sounds interesting.
It's really good. It's really good. It's on Hulu, which we don't pay for anymore.
Oh, darn it.
Maybe we'll bring it back temporarily and just binge it. I'll watch it again. It's a really good show.
Okay.
But I thought that was kind of like it's a drama television show, so I'm sure it's played up quite a bit. But man, I couldn't even imagine what that must really be like. Because even if that show is as accurate as a lot of people have like reviewed it as being, that's a scary environment to be in.
Yeah, I think the chef, whatever his name was, I think that was a good quote to add, because I think it just shows that even though you are, this chef that's amazing and whatever, that puts just even more pressure on you to the point where it could break somebody.
No, totally.
Yeah.
And then you're no longer, it's no longer about just making food and like
and a passion behind that. It's now about something completely different.
Yeah, like
a representation,
placing a plate an inch away from the edge of the table, making sure this fork is perfectly polished, all that type of stuff. Yeah. Which I guess like does kind of make a difference in like an experience of a high-end restaurant, but at the same time, I mean, that's got to detract from what you originally intended to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy though, because it is such a marker of like success, and it's such like a big validation point for restaurants. Yeah. Like that's got to be crazy. I bet a lot of those people like worked up to that really hard. They're like, I want that Michelin star, and then they got it, and they were like, oh man, this comes with a completely different thing.
I actually really like, that's why I chose this to be the fun fact, because I really like that there's like a change in people's perspectives now. I think, the world is always changing. Things are constantly changing. And I think it's really neat that finally some restaurant owners have been like, I don't want that. And like, I know that that's like something that some people strive for, but I love the diverse opinion about it, because I think that as a restaurant owner, I think that that would be something that, of course, that would be amazing to strive to get. But also, like he said, like you've just taken away like everything that you like creatively stood for,
right?
Your individuality,
right?
Things like that. And I think it's really neat that some restaurants are like, I don't really care about that. And I just think that's kind of neat.
It's kind of like when, a lot of places like, Anthony Bourdain would put a lot of like restaurants on the map. Places that were kind of like considered like secrets, hidden gems, like local favorites that weren't like blown out of proportion. Yeah. And then they get that spotlight, and all of a sudden all the people that used to really enjoy that place can't go there anymore because it's just too crowded. Yeah. It's kind of like that empanada place we went to.
Oh yeah.
When we went there, I think the hype had died down.
Yeah.
But that place overnight went from being like a local favorite to being blown out of proportion because it went viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
And the line was down the whole building.
Yeah.
And it was just ridiculous. And I saw a lot of people complaining about it. They're like, I used to go here every morning. I can't go there now.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is one of those interesting things about like getting bigger and more popular and more well-known, or getting that exposure that like probably does help the business, like, monetarily, but also kind of like can ruin what it originally stood for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's like the base for like why some people are choosing to like reject those stars, is because it does take away from what they originally stood for and why they started out like the way that they did.
Yeah.
My sources are escoffier.edu, wikipedia.org, and guide.michelin.com.
All right. Well, we learned a lot.
We did.
We learned a lot. And I think for me, the most ironic thing that I learned is that a tire company had a drinking mascot. So, drink and then drive to a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
Or drink at a nice restaurant and then drive home.
Drive home, yeah.
What's more American than that?
Yeah, except it's not an American company.
But
Which I also didn't.
I guess that's a point, yeah.
And I didn't know that, by the way. I did not know Michelin was a French company.
I didn't either. I don't think I would have ever guessed that.
Yeah, I thought it was American.
But once you said it, I was like, oh, Michelin, like you think of that word, definitely seems like a French word. So it makes sense. Right.
All right.
Well, we did it. We're back. I think the turtlenecks were a huge success.
I absolutely agree.
I would personally prefer to see the Michelin Man in a turtleneck, but I guess we'll see what happens.
He doesn't wear clothes, so.
He should.
Yeah.
Although I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Naked man.
Yeah. Well, he's not a man. He's tires.
Naked drunk tire man.
Yeah.
That should be the name of the episode.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to come see me do stand-up, go to rickmartinellicomedy.com. Please follow us on Instagram at According to My Wife. I am at Rick Martinelli Comedy. Babs is now at martinelli.cider.
I don't know anymore.
You find her.
I change my name all the time, and I don't
keep
care.
having to change the bio.
Yeah.
Because it no longer tags or goes anything. So just go to According to My Wife. You can follow her there. You can follow me there. And please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah.
Helps the algorithm. It helps people become aware of the podcast. We're trying to make this thing grow.
Yeah.
And we're back, baby.
We're back.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
We're in the new studio.
Woo!
Yeah. All right. Cheers, everyone.
Bye. Toodles.
Bye.